Hello, hello. I want to welcome you all to the first episode of the Scaling Sleep Solutions show. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is David Odenyo, and I work with Scoring and Sleep Technician Solutions. It's our family business, which was founded by my father, Samuel Odenyo. And what we do is we outsource or we service sleep practices in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and we've been doing that for the last 25 years. And we service them with, just as the name of our company suggests, with scoring and sleep tech solutions. So staffing, scoring, everything that comes along with running a sleep practice. And so this podcast, what it's all about is over the last 25 years, we've been serving sleep practices in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And we've kind of seen how technology has shifted, how standards have shifted, how the industry has shifted. But very recently, with technology and with AI now being introduced to every industry and disrupting every industry, we've really seen how the the pace of change is faster than it's ever been before, how things are changing. So recently, we've just been even curious and wondering, what does the future of sleep technology and sleep medicine look like? What will it look like in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? And we've noticed a lot of people in our field are scared that maybe their work will be automated, or many things, like having an actual physical lab, will that be necessary for most cases in the future, in the near future? There's just a lot of questions that have been raised recently with technological advances. So what this show is all about is we're going to be speaking to leaders and getting insights about what does the future of sleep technology and sleep medicine look like for sleep practices, private sleep practices, so that they can know how to, even through this disruption of new technology, how to continue to scale their practice, how to improve patient outcomes, and how to be more effective at the work that they do and innovate so that they don't get left behind with this technological revolution. So for this first episode, I just kind of wanted to introduce the concept. And another part of this is, since we're based in the Maryland area, the sleep conference, the AASM sleep conference, is going to be hosted here in Maryland this summer, or I guess it's right before summer, June 14th through 17th. So today it's about 58 days until the AASM sleep conference here in Baltimore. And so our mission here at Scoring and Sleep Tech Solutions is to interview 30 leaders over the next 58 days and get their insights on how things are shifting in this industry, how sleep practices, private sleep practices, can adapt so that they, instead of being a victim to the changes, they could actually capitalize on these changes and not get disrupted in a way that destroys their practice. So we're going to be speaking to leaders and people who have scaled their sleep practice, people who are on the cutting edge of sleep technology solutions, innovations in AI, and different things that are allowing sleep practices currently to thrive through disruption. So there are a couple I mentioned. If you guys are connected with me on LinkedIn, you may have seen recently I made a post sharing how I spoke with recently a couple of leaders within the industry. One is the leader of a home study company that has they've created a system, not just a home study kit. Most companies develop a home study kit. If you run a practice, you're aware of this. You get a home study kit designed by a manufacturer, and then there's a software that's designed by somebody else, and you kind of have to marry the two. But this company, and their name is Pranac, is unique in that they develop the software and the hardware. So they're able to they're able to you don't have to you don't have to integrate anything. They're designed for one another, the software and the hardware. So it's much easier to figure out what might be going wrong if anything is going wrong. Much easier to optimize. And they've created a very low cost home sleep kit. A very low cost, very just a little thing that fits on your finger. And they have it to where you're able to get, if let's say you have a patient who's been prescribed on a CPAP, you have the option of doing extended testing, having instead of just that one night of data, having multiple nights of data to get a longer view of how the patient is progressing with their treatment. And in addition to that, which a lot of home studies are doing now, is AI scoring. So much of the scoring work is done by technology, by AI. And so it eliminates that bottleneck of having to wait for somebody to get their eyes on this thing and look at every little piece of data. The AI helps just streamline that process. And so according to the one of the leaders in this company, he believes that about 80% of people who are potentially candidates for sleep apnea, he believes 80% of people would be fine with just a home sleep study, which tracks a lot with the industry standard that sleep studies are about a 90% accuracy when compared to in-lab studies. And if you run a practice, many patients who maybe they very highly likely have a sleep disorder, they know they have a problem, will still avoid coming in for a study just because of the discomfort of sleeping in an unfamiliar bed. So that's one technology that I found really cool. That is a glimpse into the future, I feel. And then another founder who I met is the founder of a company who created an AI solution for the back end after a patient has gone through the testing, the assessment, the diagnosis. Now they're sent to the DME company. In this company, they created a software that streamlines the DME process from the patient intake all the way to support. And so they created this AI, I guess you would call it this AI support. I don't recall the name, but they have a name for. They created this AI support that supports patients throughout the process. So instead of having to have a hands-on person necessarily there, AI is there to support along the way and to remove a lot of the bottlenecks, the information bottlenecks that occur typically. So those are just two solutions so far, that and two founders and leaders within the industry that I've spoken with so far. And there's so many other innovations happening. And I know as a sleep technologist, it could be kind of dizzying seeing all of the new technology that is constantly being created. So the goal of this podcast is to kind of be able to bring a synthesis and get a clear understanding of, with all of the disruption that's going on, what direction is sleep medicine and sleep technology going in the near future. And for the next 60 days, we're here at Scoring and Sleep Tech Solutions. We're looking to interview 30 leaders within the industry, people who have scaled their sleep practice, people who are innovating on sleep technology, sleep medicine, and get their insights on the direction of sleep technology, sleep medicine. How can private sleep practices be prepared to capitalize on the technological disruption that is happening? So that's episode one of Scaling Sleep Solutions show, the Scaling Sleep Solutions show. 4 S's, so it's easy to remember. Looking forward to interviewing a leader for episode 2, and we'll see you guys again soon. Peace.